It is the divisional round weekend in the NFL playoffs. Let's talk about all four games right now. And welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wat2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. If you enjoy what you're watching and you're brand new, please like and subscribe. If you're back and you're a returning guest, well, please like. I definitely appreciate everybody's support and the time that you take. All right, so let's talk about the NFL playoffs. I got to say, I'm feeling pretty good. Last week, we got all 6 games correct. 6-0, baby. So I am feeling pretty happy about that. So we're going to go through all 4 divisional round games. And this week, as a little extra bonus, I'm actually going to make a score prediction at the end of these. So, hey, why not have a little bit of fun with it and see what the heck happens? So our first game on Saturday, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs beat Jacksonville 27-17 back in November. That day, the Chiefs had nearly 500 yards against the Jags. And by the way, that was with Kansas City committing 3 turnovers and losing a possession when Jacksonville recovered an onside kick. But that was a different Jacksonville team. And you know what? Things have changed quite a bit. Both teams now have a group of weapons that are really greater than the sum of their parts, if you just look at name value. And they're elevated by quarterbacks who know how to call great plays. They're very savvy, and they're very smart in the pocket. And I got to say the other thing. Everyone's going to be talking about Mahomes versus Lawrence, but the defenses for both teams have really been getting better over the last month or two. Now, here's the thing. The Chiefs' offense, I think, is going to be a real problem for the Jacksonville defense because their real weakness is trying to cover the pass. Josh Allen, to me, is the only hope Jacksonville really has to get to Patrick Mahomes. Allen has a sack in each of his last 3 games and has 16 pressures in that stretch of 3 games. In that first game back in November, Jacksonville didn't have a single sack. That's going to have to change this Saturday. Now, one thing I think Kansas City should really try to do is utilize Kadarius Toney. You know, when he came over to Kansas City from the Giants, he made an early impact, but then he did what he tends to do. He got hurt. But his best game was actually against Jacksonville. 90 yards, 6 catches, and a touchdown. You know, we saw double moves. We saw boot concepts. We saw the jet sweep. You know, Toney was really the X factor for the Chiefs, and I think he's been forgotten about. I think this is his opportunity to go right back to the forefront, especially with McCole Hardman missing this game for Kansas City. Now, with the Chiefs, the thing that I've been wondering if this is good or bad. They've been playing to their level of competition a lot. They have been struggling to beat bad teams. They always find a way to win, but they never blow teams out. They don't dominate. But at the end of the day, I think that bodes well for them as they begin their latest quest for another Super Bowl. They're used to playing tight games. They're used to pulling them out. My thought is it's going to be a very offensive-minded game. Kansas City is ahead of the game for most of the way, and they're going to get one late touchdown to kind of put it away. It just ices the game with, 3-4 minutes to go. My final score prediction is the Chiefs 34 and the Jaguars 24, and Kansas City will host the AFC Championship game yet again. Oh, never mind. It's a neutral site situation if Buffalo wins. But they would host Cincinnati if the Bengals win. So how do I feel about that game? We'll get there. Now, let's do the other Saturday game. We're going to talk about the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what? When 2 division opponents play each other this late, it's always a little bit extra fun in the playoffs. And the Giants and Eagles have had some very famous games over the years. You know, it's interesting to me how there's all this talk now about how Daniel Jones is a superstar. You know, I've been hearing the word superstar on radio. I've been reading it in the newspapers. I've seen my friends who are Giants fans just flood social media with Danny Dimes. It is really interesting to me. They want to give him a long-term contract. Let's pump the brakes for just a minute, okay? The Vikings defense stinks. Daniel Jones, to me, is a quarterback who needs his legs to make an impact. He could throw the ball very well, no doubt, but the best part of his game is running the football. Minnesota had no answers for it. Credit to the Giants, credit to Mike Kafka for having a very good game plan. But here's the thing. Now he faces the Philadelphia defense, who led the NFL with 70 sacks. They have 5 guys who had 10 sacks or more last season, led by Hassan Reddick with 16 sacks. The Giants are impeccably coached, no doubt about it. Credit to that whole staff. But Nick Sirianni's not doing a bad job himself. So Jonathan Gannon, the Eagles defensive coordinator, the biggest thing he has to do is come up with a plan to take Daniel Jones' legs out of this game. That has to be done. Now, you can't count the Giants out against anybody. They've been peaking at the right time. They're playing their best football of the season. I do wonder if the Eagles have peaked. They've had such a good record. They've been a little bit sloppy the last couple of weeks. Now they have this bye to kind of reset their minds. You wonder if they're going to come out rusty or if they're going to come out ready. That all comes back to coaching and how much you believe in Nick Sirianni and this coaching staff. The Giants have thrived on climbing back into games they trailed. They had 4 fourth-quarter comebacks in the regular season. Now, I'm worried about Jalen Hurts' health, but he is 14-1 when he starts this season. He's been a full participant in practice. Lane Johnson, he was a full participant on Friday, and he is needed on that offensive line. I give the Giants' weapons a lot of credit. Isaiah Hodgins, Richie James, Daniel Bellinger coming literally out of nowhere to be reliable targets. But you know what? They're going against probably the second-best corner tandem in football, Darius Slay and James Bradbury. We all know the Jets have the best. But here's with Mike Kafka and the Giants' offense, and this is what it comes down to for me with their offense. They beat up on bad defenses. Against top 10 defenses, the Giants went 2-4-1 this year. And those games were all within reach. All but one were decided by 8 points or fewer. Now, if we go back to week 14, Philadelphia ran the ball down the Giants' throat. They ran for 9.2 yards per carry out of 12 personnel. One running back, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. I want to see the Eagles go back to that. Utilize that 2 tight end formation. They also had 8 runs of 10 yards or more out of the 12 formation. It works with Jalen Hurts. It works with Miles Sanders. It works with Kenneth Gainwell. The Eagles, to me, are just tougher and deeper than the Giants are on both lines. I think they can run the ball better. They have better pass rushers than the Giants do. I think they just have a little bit too much talent for the Giants. They have to get off to a good start. And if they get off to that good start, I think they're really going to roll in this game. What the Giants, I think, have to have a big play like early on, get up early, and put a lot of doubt in the minds of the Philadelphia fans, and that will go a long way towards them winning this game. I just believe the Eagles are a little bit better in terms of the talent. They are. And as great as the Giants coaching staff has done, I think that the Philadelphia coaching staff has been overlooked. And I think that they are going to be the X factor to winning this game, get this team ready to go, and get ready to storm the gates on Saturday night. My final score prediction, the Eagles move on to the NFC Championship game. I'm predicting them to win 27-16. So those are the Saturday games. Now let's go on to Sunday. In my mind, the marquee match, the Cincinnati Bengals at the Buffalo Bills. I said it before, this game was meant to be. After that first game got canceled, it's only right that these two teams go head-to-head in the playoffs. You know what's interesting? If the Bengals had won that first game, this game would be in Cincinnati again. Both of these teams are riding long win streaks. The Bengals have won 9 straight. The Bills have won 8 straight. This is the 7th ever playoff meeting featuring 2 teams on winning streaks of 8 games or more, and it's the first to happen before the conference championship round. Very interesting. Now, Cincinnati, here's what scares me. They've got 3 offensive line starters missing this game, including both tackles and their right guard. That scares me. But with Buffalo, I don't think their defense has that X factor, and that X factor is Von Miller. Since he went down, they have not showed the ability to rush the passer. And here's the thing with Joe Burrow. For all we talk about him, about his accuracy, his moxie, his intelligence, his vision, he gets the ball out of his hand quickly. He's the second fastest at this point, only behind Tom Shady. Now, on the season, Burrow attempted 114 passes out of empty sets. He completed 68% of those throws. Now, well, here's why I'm bringing that up. Miami exploited Buffalo's secondary with the combination of Waddle and Hill getting 113 yards on 10 catches. If Skylar freaking Thompson could do that, what is Joe Burrow going to do with Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase? You could throw in Hayden Hurst if you want. I think they could really spread the field, and the thing is, Burrow's going to have to get that ball out quickly. I would go shotgun, I'd go 3 wide receivers, and I'd go heavy with that look and challenge these Buffalo defensive backs. Now, on the other side, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis against the Bengals corners, Eli Apple and Cam Taylor-Britt, who's a rookie. I think that really favors the Bills. Now, as inconsistent as Gabe Davis is, he has a knack for making 1 or 2 big plays in a game, especially in the big games. He was amazing in the playoffs last year, and I think he's got a moment like that in him. And here's the thing. The Bengals really like to play a single high safety. As much as I like Jesse Bates, he is not a very good cover corner, and that could be a problem. The Bills' offense, if they've got one weakness, they struggle with turnovers, okay? Particularly when Josh Allen wants to take the opportunistic throws instead of taking the short throws that the defense is giving him. Allen turned the ball over 3 times last week against Miami, plus he led the NFL in turnovers during the regular season among quarterbacks with 19. He cannot keep doing that. So to me, if I got to pick a winner on this one, which of course I will, this is the toughest game to pick of the 4. I think that the home field advantage makes a difference for Buffalo here. I like their defense a little bit more than I like Cincinnati's. I think that's one of the big differences. I just like Gabe Davis in these moments to have a big play against the Cincinnati secondary. I think that's enough. And we're going to have a neutral site AFC Championship game in freaking Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And, of course, the Chick-fil-A inside the stadium will not be open. Final score, Bills 34, Bengals 30. So that is my prediction for the first game on Sunday. And then finally, it's the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara, California. This is one of the great rivalries in the NFL, and this is just the latest chapter. We know last year the 49ers beat the Cowboys in Jerry World, so this is a chance for the Cowboys to even things up in enemy territory. The Niners get 2 extra days of rest. You can't overlook that. And I've told you, the Cowboys are the ultimate Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team. Well, last week we saw good Dallas. We saw good Dak. We saw good everything. And now they face the #1 defense in football. You know, we talked about how the Bills and the Bengals are coming into this game on a hot streak. Well, nobody's hotter than the Niners. They've won 11 in a row. Their last loss was October 23rd, and it was against Kansas City. It's still amazing to me that San Francisco actually lost the game to Denver this year. It's amazing. But here's the thing with San Francisco, why I like them. They've got 5 players who can catch and run between McCaffrey, Samuel, Ayuk, Juszczyk, and Kittle. Here's what I think they should do. I want to see them run some 21 personnel, all right, 2 running backs. During the regular season, when they used the 21 personnel formation, they averaged 6.1 yards per play and 121 total yards per game, which is 2nd in the league out of that formation. I think that's going to put Dallas in a bind to try to cover that. The big thing for me is, will Brock Purdy respond to the pressure of the Dallas defense? Now, I want to talk about this defense and what they do. It's not just the great players they have, it's the scheming, it's the coaching. Dan Quinn is a very good defensive coordinator. He's one of those classic great coordinators who just did not work out as a head coach. The Cowboys led the league in pressure percentage with 39%, and finished 2nd in sacks per dropback. 8.6 of the time, they got a sack on the opposing quarterback, which is amazing. So, how creative will Dan Quinn get with disguising that coverage against Brock Purdy? It worked great against Tom Shady in Tampa Bay on Monday. Now he's going to try to do it against a rookie. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Purdy plays in this game. I think this game really comes down to how those 2 quarterbacks play. I know that's obvious. But as good as these defenses are and as good as the weapons are around these quarterbacks, you know, how are they going to play? Now, on defense, you've got, in my mind, the 2 best defensive players in the league this year in Nick Bosa and Michael Parsons. Quinn Williams not far behind. So these quarterbacks are going to be facing a lot of pressure. I want to see Dak Prescott utilize some play action, I think. So in last week when San Francisco played Seattle, okay, San Francisco allowed 8 yards per attempt on play action throws and 7.9 yards per attempt on boot play action. And, on average, they've allowed the 22nd most yards per game on play action passes. So let's see if Dallas uses play action. I do like that he has both running backs in Pollard and Elliott to keep the Niners defense honest. And the thing with San Francisco is they're better at defending the pass than they are the rush. Okay? In 6 games this year, they allowed 99 yards or more on the ground. In those 6 games, when they allowed 99 yards or more on the ground, they went 2-4. So that run defense, that's going to make a big difference. As I really break this game down, to me, it's how much do I trust Brock Purdy and how much do I trust Dak Prescott? Because Prescott has those turnover-prone games. It feels like you get one good game, one bad game. And, as much as you might want to doubt Purdy being Mr. Relevant, being a 7th-round pick, he has shown every ability to run this offense. And why should I think that he's not going to do it again this week? So I am going to take the San Francisco 49ers to advance, to head to Philadelphia for what I think will be a fantastic NFC Championship game. My final score prediction is going to be San Francisco 27, and I'm going to say Dallas 17. So 27-17 San Francisco. So again, my 4 picks. Give me the Chiefs over the Jaguars. Give me the Eagles over the Giants. The Bills over the Bengals, and the 49ers over the Cowboys. I'm picking 4 home teams. That's just the way I'm looking at it. I want to hear your thoughts. What are your game predictions? Put them right down there in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on why one game might go a certain way. And do you have any players who might have a big game in this divisional round? Well, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time again. Thanks, and I will see you back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.